In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a complete strategy to make your first 100 sales in print on demand. Now, this definitely, when you are first getting started, seems like a very daunting number. It's sometimes a struggle to get that first sale or even make 10 sales, but there are some really important key decisions you need to make very early on and some strategies you can implement from day one that's really going to help set yourself up for success and have a blueprint to follow to actually make those 100 sales in not too many months. Now, there are tons of videos out there with very general advice with strategies and methods you can implement that are all really good to follow. There are some tips for you that are going to work whether you've made only one sale or you're making your 10,000 sale. But in today's video, I'm really focusing on those beginning strategies that are going to take you from A to Z, where you're really getting your business up and running. Honestly, those first 100 sales can be the toughest to make. And a lot of times I find that people's business, once they've kind of reached that threshold, things really start to take off and it becomes way easier once you've figured out the formula to make those sales. So it's really important to invest in the beginning stages and not give up when it starts to get tough, because sometimes you just have to get through this initial barrier and you're really going to see your print on demand business start to grow. So let's not waste any more time and just jump right into this strategy that you can use to make your first 100 sales. Now, the very first key decision you're going to have to make if you really want to make those 100 sales in a quick and efficient manner is where you are selling your items. Now, there are so many different print on demand platforms out there. I've talked about many on my YouTube channel here, and I sell on quite a few of them. But when you are trying to really buckle down and make those first 100 sales, it's very important to be on a site that has a high volume of traffic that is going to bring you organic traffic that you don't necessarily have to make on your own. Now, the two sites that by far get the most traffic and the most print on demand sales that you definitely should be on are going to be either Amazon or Etsy. Now, I myself love and use sites like Redbubble, TeePublic, and Zazzle. Those are all great sites, but they truly do not have the traffic or the volume of sales that sites like Etsy and Amazon are going to have. So the first thing you need to evaluate is if you are on one of these sites. If they've seemed too daunting to you in the past, or you just feel like you can't get a handle of them and you're trying to do something a little bit simpler, it might be time to make the switch to a site like Etsy. Now, Etsy doesn't have to be as mysterious as we sometimes make it out to be, but one of the biggest barriers I find is people are really scared about working with a manufacturing partner. So this is typically going to be the person that is going between you and Etsy, that actually has the items, that's going to print them, that's going to pack them and ship them and store them. They're doing all the legwork while you are doing everything on the back end, like creating the designs, uploading your listings to a platform like Etsy. And then the middleman, the manufacturing partner, is going to do all the actual legwork for you, so you don't have to be storing anything in your home or doing any actual production yourself. Now, that whole part can be so mysterious, figuring out who to work with, how this all works, how to integrate it with a place like Etsy. But the manufacturing partner I have used for a long time that I always am recommending here on YouTube is going to be Printify. Now, if you haven't heard of Printify before, they have a catalog of over 800 different items that you can integrate with your Etsy shop and you can seamlessly sell on there. And they've just really made this process super simple for print on demand sellers, so you really don't have to know a whole ton about the whole print on demand process to even get started. So I have a full video on how to integrate your Etsy account with Printify and get started selling on those platforms. I will link that above here. And if you want to create a quick account, you can also do so in the link down below as well. But if you're not selling on Etsy, the other platform I highly recommend is Amazon Merch, but it's definitely a little bit more challenging to get in. There is an application process, which I have a guide here on how to apply for that. But a lot of people who apply are going to get rejected. So if you can't get on Amazon Merch, definitely make sure you're selling on a platform like Etsy integrated with Printify. This is going to really help you make those first 100 sales way faster than if you are trying to on another smaller site. Now, the next decision you need to make before you even start uploading your products and start trying to make those sales is what types of items are you going to be selling? Now, the most common item that tons of print on demand sellers do is definitely going to be things like t-shirts. I still sell tons of t-shirts every single day. It's really where I got started, was in more of the apparel side of print on demand, but there truly truly are so many different product types that you can try and find success in. There's really no right or wrong answer, but you have to figure out what type of product you want to sell and that you're comfortable making a lot of listings of. So maybe that is t-shirts, or maybe you want to try something more out of the box that there's less competition in. So you're going to do something like a tumbler or tote bags, or even something like pillowcases. Now, Amazon has quite a few different options of products that you can sell, and they always add more every few years. And then Printify, if you're selling on Etsy, has an even larger catalog, over 800 different products. So if you can imagine it, you can probably sell it with Printify. I definitely recommend checking them out, but don't get too bogged down with wanting to sell too many different product types. Choose one or two you're going to stick through during this first push to make 100 sales, and get really comfortable with how to create those types of products. Now, after you've figured out what types of products you're going to sell, maybe that is t-shirts or mugs, sweatshirts, something like that, now it's time to start researching and deciding what niche or niches you are going to be selling in. Now, there are many print-on-demand sellers that have one niche idea that would make a really good store. So for example, on Etsy, maybe they want to only make products for moms of twins. So their whole store, every niche that they do is all about having twins or triplets. It's all going to work in that one particular niche. Or someone creates a store really focused on a certain type of dog breed or multiple dog breeds, and everything they do is going to fit within that one type of niche. Now, that can be a really great strategy for a lot of people, and if you do have a shop idea that you know is really going to work, or you validated it in some way that this will get sales, you definitely can run with it and just have a very niche specific shop. But for many new sellers, they are going to need to sell in many different niches to actually figure out what is going to work. So this is typically the strategy that I'm going to recommend to new print-on-demand sellers, is to have a general shop where you are uploading almost any and every different niche. Now, this can be really overwhelming because you're like, well, I don't even know where to begin with finding niches. Everything I do is either way too saturated or nobody is looking for this. And researching and finding good niches really is something you will get better at over time. But I actually have a full resource for print-on-demand sellers that is my cross-niching workshop that's going to take you through one of the methods that I like best for approaching the niche selection process. It's going to teach you how to take two really popular and competitive categories and kind of blend them together to make something that has way less competition that you could actually stand out and make sales in. So that is a free workshop I'll have linked for you guys down below. It's about an hour long, and it's going to take you through my step-by-step process of how to pick really good niches and give you a full kind of guidebook of how to do that on your own after the fact. So if you haven't ever taken that before, or you just need a refresher, make sure you do sign up down below. So I'll send all that information to your inbox. Now, once you kind of have some ideas of the first few niches you're going to be pursuing, you need to think about your upload goals. So a lot of times I tell new print-on-demand sellers that you don't even need to worry about not making your first sale until you have at least your first 100 products uploaded. Now, I know that seems like a ton of uploads, but the reality of print on demand is, of all of the products that you upload, only a small portion of those are ever going to sell. And that's totally okay, because the items that do sell and become bestsellers are going to make enough profit for all of the items in your shop. But before you really have that critical volume of at least 100 listings in your Etsy shop or Amazon store, you really don't have enough to work with to actually guarantee that you're going to make a sale or two. So before you start worrying that you're not getting any traction, that nothing is happening, evaluate and see if you actually have at least 100 listings uploaded. Now, if you don't, if you're starting from square one, or you've only uploaded a few products up to this point, that's where you really can start setting some goals. So your first 100 uploads, it definitely could take you a month or two to get that if you are uploading consistently. But I highly recommend picking a daily amount of uploads that you want to hit. So this could be anywhere from 1 to 3 uploads a day, or you could do even more if you feel like you have the time, or you really want to be ambitious and get this process going very quickly. But I find that picking a small number that I can really stick to over a long period of time is what has typically worked best for me, and what I've seen other people find a lot of success with, because they're able to stay very consistent and not get overwhelmed because they're doing too much at the beginning. So if you do want to reach that 100 upload milestone, figure out how long about that's going to take you, and then kind of work backwards and see how many uploads you need to do every single day. So this is a very critical part on this journey to making make your first 100 sales is going to be getting your first 100 or so listings uploaded. So in this time, hopefully you're figuring out a good everyday rhythm. So that might look something like going on Printify, browsing through their products, picking the ones you're going to sell that day, and then after that, either using my cross niching guide to pick out some niches or just doing some of your own niche research for 2 or 3 products that you're going to upload, creating those designs on a place like Kittl or Canva. And I have tons of design tutorials on my YouTube channel if you want to check any of those out to get some good inspiration and ideas. But you're going to create your designs and upload those and kind of rinse and repeat every single day. Now, by the time you do reach your first 100 uploads, it might be a month or 2 after you've gotten started. Hopefully by this time you have made a sale or 2. Now, this is a very critical time in your print on demand journey. Once you've made your first sale, you have validated to yourself that you know what it takes to actually make something people want to buy, and that means you can do this over and over again. Now, whenever you make a sale at the beginning, I want you to take a ton of time to really evaluate that listing, pay attention to what the product is, what niche this is in, what the design looked like, what color item this is, what kind of SEO you used, and all of those things are going to give you clues about what the next products you should be creating are going to be. So for example, say you sold a product in the niche of Halloween dentists. So this was an item you put together and a month or so before Halloween, you made a sale on it. Well, that should give you a clue that this is going to be a great niche for you. So maybe you take that and you're like, okay, I did Halloween dentist. Now we're coming up more on the holidays. So I am going to switch my gears and do Thanksgiving dentist items, Christmas dentist items. I'm going to do New Year's, and then even think through to the next year's worth of holidays because you validated that that is a good niche. In my own business, one of the ways that I have continued to grow is every single time I sell an item in a new niche or style, I take notes of that and I am going to use that information to make more and more of that type of item. So if I sell one shirt in a particular niche, I might turn around and make 10 additional designs or products in a similar niche to that and go ahead and upload those because I know that that has been validated to actually work. So every single time you make a sale, it's leaving you clues that that is products that people want to buy, so you can keep adding those types of items to your shop. And a lot of times you will find that your best-selling niches kind of emerge on their own. Maybe you make a sale or 2 in one particular niche, and with that information, you're just going to keep adding new products in that niche to your shops, and those are going to keep getting sales, so you keep adding more. So while you might have started selling in tons of different niches, down the road you might find that there are your best 10 or so niches that you continue to add to every single month, and those are the ones that continue to perform the best for you. So then you are just going to rinse and repeat this process. You are going to stick with your daily uploads, but every single time you make sales, you are going to evaluate what that product is and continue to make more and more in that niche, while also expanding into some other niches as well and continuing to grow your catalog. Now, what I have found that once you make that first sale, or especially those first 10, the next 90 are going to come very fast. A lot of times getting that initial momentum is going to be very difficult. It's going to take you months sometimes, but once you really start figuring out what works for you, the next sales are going to come really fast, and it's just going to get exponentially faster after you meet that 100th sale. So in the same way that reaching the first 1 or 10 takes a lot of time, the first 100 is going to probably take you more time than getting your first 1,000 and so on. So as your business grows exponentially, the sales are going to get easier and easier. So if you feel like you're really stuck, reevaluate a lot of these key decisions that you need to make towards the beginning and think about the strategy you've been using to actually approach your niche research and uploading, and make sure you're actually uploading enough items to your shop to really have the volume to actually be able to make that first sale or first 100 sales. Now, if you continue to do this, you really could get your first 100 sales in just a few months. But this could be a process that could take a little longer than that as well. It just depends on how much time you are spending on this every single day. So it's important to really have a good, clear picture of how much you can accomplish every single day and make some goals that you really can stick to, because that is going to help you reach the milestones you want to even faster. Now, if you're still kind of stuck at the beginning stages and not really sure how to set up your first ever print-on-demand shop or how to make good designs, I highly recommend checking out these couple videos here that's going to walk you through all those things and set you up with a good foundation for success process while you are trying to reach those first 100 sales. You guys got this. I believe in you. You can do it. You just got to stick with it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.